Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be my October update for Deck of Panning. This is a project that I created based off of Books with Maddie's TBR game, Deck of TBR. I did ask her permission, of course, to adapt it into a project pan, and she obviously agreed. This project will be coming back in 2022. It does end on December 20th, so we will have a 1 month break, assuming that we are going to continue doing like the 20th of every month. I have just put feelers out into my Instagram chats, seeing if everyone was okay with that. So we will have a break at the end of the year, beginning of next year, just to play around with our collection, focus on other project pans you may have going on, etc. I've been loving this project so much. Thank you all for your support on it. Leave any constructive feedback or anything in the comments below. I'd really appreciate that. I am right now working on changes for next year. There will be a few small changes. And so if there's anything about this project that you would like to see changed or aspects that you would really like to stay the same, then I'd love to hear your feedback. You can either put it in the comments, send me an email, a DM on Instagram, whatever you like. Before hopping into my progress, I do want to put on screen what the board is looking like this month. It does get shuffled and changed around 100% unbiased at random every single month. I showed how I do that over on my Instagram. And if you are wondering about any of the prompts, there is a tab that has them listed alphabetically with some suggestions, but every prompt is kind of open to someone's interpretation. I don't like being a huge gatekeeper with lots of like really strict rules, like no, you can't put that product in. Like there's one that's for powder, which was originally meant to be like a face powder, but honestly like a powder blush is a powder. Things like that. So everything's open to interpretation, but if you're really lost on something, head over to the next tab and there should be a bit of a description for you. The end of the year is coming so quickly, but that's enough rambling for me. Let's just hop into my progress. I always go in the order. I actually have 2 products in from my intro still, which is crazy. So let's start with those. First, I have my Touch and Soul No Problem Primer. This is for a product a friend is panning. It was based off of It's Just Steph. She is one of my absolute favorites here on this platform, and she finished hers long ago. My goal is to finish this. I have made really steady, consistent progress. It tipped over, so you can see it's like higher right here, but it's actually super low. It's actually, why am I so repetitive? It is really low in the bottle and it's getting hard to pump it out. I'm constantly, like banging it on my hand. I think here pretty soon I'm going to have to get my spatula out because I can see the bottom of the jar. It's so close to being done. Based on the consistent progress I have been having, I estimate that this will be done for next month, which would be really exciting for me. Like I said, I've been working on it all year. I've used it a total, 70 times in this project, 8 of them since the last update. Next up, for most expensive, I'm knocking everything over. I chose my most expensive powder in my collection, which is the Becca Hydra Mist Set and Refresh powder. I have not made any progress on this much at all. I mean, I guess I could technically make a line this time, but it's be the first time like 4 or 5 months, and this is looking terrible. This does oxidize on me or darkens what I put on it. I'm not sure if the exact chemical reaction that is happening, like if the powder itself is oxidizing or like what is occurring. But lately, since I am back to my fairest, well, except for my hands are still tanned, because I haven't applied any fake tan in a while except for my gradual tanning lotion, which doesn't really do a whole lot. I've just haven't made the time, I guess, to apply a proper fake tan, and my summer tan is for sure gone. I've been using this to set my under eyes, and it has made my under eyes noticeably darker than the rest of my face, which they weren't before applying the powder. And I remembered people having that issue with this product when it was new and exciting and a whole bunch of people were doing videos on it, and I never had that experience because somehow I've always been using this in the summer when I had a tan because it had that cooling aspect to it, which it no longer has. It's too old for that. So I'm choosing to roll this out. I will pick it up again next summer and see if I can finish it. I'm working on a powder that I'm so close to finishing for setting the rest of my face, which this would technically still work for, but it's been months since I've been able to make a line. I just want to put this away. So because this is cheating, I'll be taking a punishment by pulling 2 cards to replace it. But I have used it 45 times this year, and I'm just not really enjoying it. I don't hate it enough to declutter it completely. Like, I will use this up in my collection at some point, but just not right now. A couple months ago, I got the Wild card, and I was really excited to pull in my BH Cosmetics Weekend Festival palette. If you're unfamiliar, Wild card means I could basically choose whatever I wanted, and I have been really drawn to this palette since I got it years and years ago. I love this palette, and in years past I have used it a ton. You can see there's like quite a lot of dips, no pans in here because I haven't like officially worked on it in a panning project. My goal is really minimal, 10 uses, and I don't know what my block is besides I'm just working on too many eyeshadows. I've only used this 5 times, which it's been in for 3 months now. I can't even like, I don't have an excuse. Now that I'm like really thinking of it, I think it's because this project update is on the 20th and my Pan Those Eyeshadows project has been on the 25th. Everything's been late over the last few months, but it's supposed to be on the 25th. So I think I'm focusing too much on my Pan Those Eyeshadows around this time of the month and not this. I'm really bad at like using a certain products because I have so many projects on the go, for like the days, focusing really hard on them, the days leading up to the update. And then as soon as the update is filmed, I'm like, okay, on to the next products. And so I might use this once days before filming, which I didn't even do this month. And then I set it down to pick up the next palette for the update I need to film next. Does that make any sense? 5 more uses. I am vowing for this to be done next update because that is just crazy. For a palette that I really love, this just needs to get done. And I'm not even saying it needs to be, the 10 uses need to be full looks from this palette. Like, I can reach into it for 1 or 2 shades to go with a look, and I just haven't been doing that. For a body care item, I chose the Body Shop Coconut Exfoliating Cream Body Scrub. I've been using this a handful of times every single month. It's been in 2 months now, yeah. And I have made a really big dent in this product. It was brand new when I pulled it in. It's white, so it's hard to see with my lights. But I think if I use this a couple more times than I have been per month, like maybe every 5 days or so, I could have this done for next month as well. I'm really enjoying this. I'm not typically a body scrub kind of person because I use a loofah in the shower daily, and that is kind of like exfoliating enough. But this isn't like overly exfoliating because it does have that creamy base to it, and there's not that many like gritty particles, that it just feels nice on my body regardless. Especially now that, at least where I live, of course, it's cooling down and my skin is feeling a little more dry. Like going in with a more hydrating body scrub feels really nice to then put a body lotion on top of, because my skin is definitely getting drier. Lastly, I got most recent purchase, which there were 2 items that were kind of candidates for this, and I went with my Fenty What It Do makeup refreshing spray. My goal is to use this 20 times and I've used it 4 times. The mist on this is incredible. I did use it today and it definitely offers that dewy finish. This is a finishing spray similar to like MAC Fix Plus, but a bit dewier than that. It's not really the type of makeup setting spray that like locks everything in and keeps it from moving, but as my skin is drying out because it's getting colder, this has felt really nice. And also if my like makeup is starting to do something a little weird, spraying this again to just kind of bounce out if my foundation is moving or creasing or whatever has been really nice. My uses are like a daily use. Like I've applied this lipstick 3 or 4 times today. I only tallied it once in my spreadsheet. I'm doing good to remember to do that. I cannot maintain tracking reapplications. So I've used this 4 days over the last month, and this will be staying in my project. Now, because I am just like vetoing this Becca powder, I am going to draw 2 new cards and I'll be back up to 6 products. I'm going to put up on the screen again what the board is looking like. I got the Joker in my intro and I can't believe I'm saying this right now because I'm gonna jinx myself, but I really hope I don't get the Joker, obviously. Just pulling off the top. The 8 of Diamonds. These cards are kind of hard to see, aren't they? And the next one off the top, not shuffling again. The 4 of Diamonds. Oh, I got the 4 of Diamonds last time, which was most recent purchase, but because the prompts get shuffled around each time, it won't be most recent purchase again. Okay. First, I got an 8 of Diamonds, which is a product that was gifted. That is a really good prompt. So that could be like a Christmas gift. Maybe you bought it with a gift card, PR, something like that. And then 4 of Diamonds is something a friend is panning again. Okay, I'm gonna have to think on this and I'll be right back. Okay, that took me a little while and I couldn't honestly think. Like I was drawing a blank on something a friend was panning and I was like, why don't I just go watch the Deck of Panning playlist and watch some of those videos? So that's what I've been sitting here doing, and then I also thought of my other product. So let's just start with the 4 of Diamonds, and that is something a friend is panning. And I immediately thought of Ashley, or Little Miss Lipstick. Her and I were just chatting on Instagram for a second there, and I was like, oh yes, what does Ashley have in Deck of Panning? Because she's doing this project as well. Her like this update that I'm filming that needs to go up is obviously not up yet, so it was last update and she actually met her goal on this product and I own it, so I was like, perfect, just grab that. I did that also with something a friend is panning over here. Is like the first product that I saw in the videos I was watching, I just went for, because or else I could be humming and hawing for a million years. Okay, this is the Physicians Formula Shimmer Strip in Natural Nude. It is a gorgeous, intense highlighter. I love this product and I haven't reached for it in a while. Let's see. Yeah, I have not tracked any uses on this, which means it's been sitting in my drawers unused for over a year and a half. That's a crime. So Ashley's goal was to use it 25 times. So I'm also going to adopt that goal for a product she was panning. And I want to use this highlighter 25 times. And I feel really good about that goal. I love that you can like customize the shade. We have like a literal white highlight, champagne, kind of a rosy gold, and then there's this pinker strip. These ones are generally too dark for me, but sometimes I'll just like run my brush over the whole thing, kind of ending here in this light section, and that seems to work fine. So I mean, the embossing is off of 1.5 of those little bows that are in some of the rectangles. So like I've used this a lot in its lifetime, just not in a very long time. So 25 uses on that guy. And then for gifted, there are quite a number of products that were running through my mind, and I landed on the Natasha Denona Zendo palette, which I have never used before. My husband gifted this to me at the end of May / beginning of June, whenever it arrived. I don't quite remember. For our anniversary, it was our 10-year anniversary for like dating, and it was just on my mind because just less than 2 weeks ago it was our 3rd year anniversary for our wedding, and I was like, I still haven't used this, and I was so excited. I went into the makeup drawer of shame because all my makeup ends up there, but then there have been so many terrible reviews, and this is my first midi palette from Natasha Denona, and I was so excited to finally have one of these. I have her mini palettes and I have her regular size 5-pan palettes, but nothing bigger than that because they are so expensive, and I could never spend this much money on an eyeshadow palette just for myself. I mean, unless my YouTube paycheck starts paying for some bills and some makeup. Like where I'm at right now in life, I shouldn't say I could never. Where I'm at right now, I cannot justify the price of Natasha Denona eyeshadows, though I love them. And I've been nervous because of the bad reviews, but some of the people that I typically make purchases off of their reviews have liked it, like Angelica Nyqvist. So I'm really hoping. I love it. I really do. My goal with this will be to use it 10 times. I think that is going to be 10 looks out of this palette, at least like in its majority. Like I'm not going to sit here and do 10 uses and just like have one of these be an inner corner highlight or something. Like I need to actually thoroughly test out this product. I don't think I would do well with saying like use every shade twice or something. Maybe a different time I can test that out as a goal instead, but I definitely want to have touched all of the shades, you know, create some bluer or green looks, create some of these more like pink and reds, like really get to know this palette as a whole. That will be my goal, but we'll just say, you know, 10 uses. And I am really, really excited. Like I literally haven't touched it. I want to take some pictures. I'm surprised I haven't yet. And I think this is a really good fall palette. We have like the greens and blues over here, and then these like richer autumnal tones. Maybe I can take a picture of this in the leaves, the fall leaves, because I have some green leaves coming down from like my apple tree, and then of course, you know, the oranges and the yellows and the reds. That's a fabulous idea. So I'm not going to touch anything right now, but I am remaining very hopeful that I will love this palette. Should I be working on any more eyeshadows? No, but this is what I felt called to do, and honestly, except for a couple of PR products, which now I'm thinking of some other things that would have been more strategic, but this is what I was called to. This is what I'm sticking with. I tend to do best when I just like go with my gut and like what pops into my head first, because then if I start overthinking things, then there's too many options and too many pros and cons, and it's just a lot. So I'm really excited about these two new products. The Becca powder will be going back in my drawer, and next month, could I have these three, you can't even see what this is, these three products rolled out? I'm so close to finishing this primer. I really don't think that will be a struggle to finish at all. This, I'm probably 2/3 of the way through, and it's been in 2 months. So has it been 2 months or 3 months? Whatever. I think I could have this done. And then I already made the promise to use this 5 times before the next month. So yeah, I think we'll have 3 empties, and that will be amazing. If you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up so that I know, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.